Siemaneczko, witajcie w kolejnym odcinku z Noire. Jest to bodajże odcinek 25.
Arnett is in interview too, Phelps. Go help him get whatever it is off his chest.
O kurde, zapisało się przed...
I don't care. I don't go in for letting gangsters off scot-free.
Tu jest drugi.
I'm gonna make him take you to the pictures tonight.
A, tu.
Mr. Arnett,
To jeszcze
I'm
raz
Detective
w
Phelps.
takim
This is
razie.
Detective Earl. Thanks for coming in.
Call me Henry.
Zobaczymy, może da się nam coś
It's the
lepiej
least I could
zrobić.
do. Terrible news about Julia.
How well did you know Julia Randall?
Vaguely. I'm in the clothing business, and Julia occasionally modeled for me.
Nie no, chyba dowodu żadnego nie mamy, a to wtedy mu uwierz, to było źle.
He's asking whether you banged her in a chuck on the shoulder fraternity kind of way.
I'm engaged to be married. It wouldn't be polite.
Answer the question.
This will remain private. Heather won't have to know. Yes. We had relations.
Miss Randall's landlady said she was seeing an older man.
Could have been. I wasn't privy to all the details of Julia's private life.
Tu daliśmy chyba zakwestionuj.
Henry, I don't like when people lie to me. She was seeing a man named Henderson. You know who I'm talking about.
Easy on, detective. I may have heard of Henderson, but I don't know his full name. I think he's from New York or someplace back east.
Ale też nie mamy tutaj, żeby coś...
You don't ask, you never find out.
Nie wiem, no zrobimy... Dwójka pewno będzie źle.
Spill it, Henry. You know nothing about a man named Henderson?
Yes, you're right. Henderson, yeah. Very distinguished.
How about a first name, wise guy? An address, maybe?
I'm sorry, I don't. I think he lives somewhere out of town. Somewhere back east.
Ever heard of a Jimmy LeBlanc?
No. Should I have? Is he an entertainer or something?
Tu zakwestionuj.
So you wouldn't have any reason to believe that LeBlanc
Czy tak
would
by
be
trzeba
involved in
go
Julia
śledzić?
Randall's murder?
If this guy is a criminal, he might have been involved. But like I said, I've never heard of this LeBlanc character.
Heather told us that you were in fashion.
That's right.
Guy gave his wife a tap. I said, all's fair in love and war.
Some kind of traveling salesman?
Once I got out of the Corps, I used my...
You were in the Marines?
Sure. I'm proud of it. Fighting Sixth.
You were in the 6th Marines.
Yes. I was a captain.
Which company?
Various companies. We had a lot of casualties.
Which engagements?
Okinawa. A couple of other places.
That will be all for now, Henry. You've been very helpful.
That son of a bitch was never in the Marines. Why'd you let him off the hook?
Because we're giving him a couple of minutes before we start tailing him. Arnett is an amateur. We need to find out who killed the girl. Can you pass this on to Bukowski? Have him check the place out and go through his records.
Sure, I'll pass it on.
Thanks. Can you also have R&I run the records on a Jimmy LeBlanc and find out who was his last arresting officer? Have them get in touch via KGPL when they have some information.
Dobra, to jedziemy.
He's in that car at the lights.
He was squirming like a worm in there.
Don't you love it when they pull the war hero excuse? Actually, maybe you don't.
I'd have expected a cad like Arnett to be a better liar.
Nie udało się. Chciałem. No dobra, idziemy dalej, idziemy. Za blisko.
Damn it, we got pink. He's off, quick.
Where are you taking us, Henry?
Czemu stoi zamiast jechać szybciej? Boże. Co to za... Nie będę wyzywał. Kapcie nie spali ten samochód.
That idiot never stepped foot in Okinawa.
You got a pretty funny idea of what keeping a low profile means, Phelps.
O, dobra, dojechał.
He needs money and fast. Get in there and find out what he pawned. I'll stick with him, see how he intends to spend the money. Move in. Can't risk losing the trail.
Hoof it, Phelps. I'll bring the car around when I'm done here.
What on earth is that man doing?
Przechodzi przez drogę. Przejść ten zakręt.
That's right, Mexico City. One-way ticket, please. Next available seat.
That would be 1 day from now. Is that okay?
It's going to have to be.
LAPD, the man who just came in here, he bought a ticket?
Yes, sir. To Mexico City, tomorrow night.
If you hear from him again, don't mention this conversation.
What have you got?
He bought a ticket from Mexico City. Tomorrow night.
That's good. But this is better.
Oh my God. It's Fabergé.
Should have seen the look on the pawnbroker's face when I told him to hand it over. The guy who owned the joint thought it was worth at least 10 large for a cigarette case. Arnett only got 600 clams.
Jay. Czyli od Julie. O, osiągnięcie jeszcze z do
Car 11K, 11 King, come in.
Go ahead, KGPL.
11K, go to Hollywood Station. Homicide detectives Bukowski and Galloway have information relating to the Randall case.
Roger, KGPL. 11K, en route.
Po co mam zadzwonić?
Operator, give me R&I.
Putting you through now.
Phelps, badge 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
Any luck with the arrest record check on Jimmy LeBlanc?
Yes, Detective. Jimmy LeBlanc's last arresting officer was Patrolman Fred Wallace. He's posted the Hollywood 9th Beat Sunset Boulevard between Gordon and Wilcox.
Thank you.
Okej. To pojedziemy teraz.
A one-way ticket to Mexico. Old Henry's looking as guilty as a dog next to a pile of dog shit.
What's his motive?
I can think of a few, but I'd put my money south of the belt. One guy plus two dames always equals problems.
Wejdź.
Any of the vicinity officer needs assistance, 1825 North Highland Avenue.
Gdzie to jest? Niestety musimy
North
wrócić.
Highland Avenue. Unit to handle code 2 identified.
Come on, let's give him a hand.
Right behind you, Wallace. Detective Phelps.
Wallace, go left. I'm going right after this little prick in the alley.
Move, I've got you. Throw out the guns.
No, he's there. Right there. Kill him.
Dawaj, dawaj. I po historii.
Thanks. Outstanding warrant, armed robbery.
Knocked over a drugstore back there, and it looks like he brought his whole posse with him. Bad luck for them.
They're all yours now. We need some information.
Ever heard of a burglar goes by the name of Jimmy LeBlanc?
Sure. We nabbed Jimmy on a burglary beef a couple of years back. They cut through a music shop and into a jewelry store. He got 4 years. I miss his partner, though.
His partner?
Right.
Big guy. I had him cornered, and he picked up this huge display case and threw it out a plate glass window. Then he vaulted out of there like something out of Barnum and Bailey.
Got away.
I would have had him, except for LeBlanc yelling, "Run for it, Willie!"
And you think he was an acrobat of some sort?
More like a strongman, a wrestler, or a boxer, that kind of thing.
Thanks. You've been a big help.
You haven't done too badly yourself.
Willie.
You're suggesting LeBlanc is still working with Willie?
A strong man held down Randall while someone administered the morphine. Someone with muscle opened up LeBlanc's skull. Could be.
Any Central unit of 484 just occurred, 3155 West 4th Street. Unit
Niestety,
code 3
nie
identified.
w naszym kierunku. Ale jak mówiłem, na koniec spróbujemy zrobić to wszystkie dodatkowe zadanie. Tam była taka informacja, że będziemy tutaj robić.
We caught up with Mao. He's given us the dope on LeBlanc.
He worked burglaries with a big guy. Goes by the name of Willie. He might be our killer. Can you work boxing gyms, the Y, promoters, that kind of stuff?
Since when have you started giving orders, Phelps? And where's the burglary angle? There was no sign of a...
That's where our net comes in. Next stop, we speak to Lacey about a list of recent burglaries.
The guy's a bum. His office is a front, and he's behind on the rent and his phone bill.
And he's skipping town. Tomorrow.
Let's get him in and beat it out of it.
Do you want to bring in the killer, Rusty?
It could be too smart for your own good, Phelps. We've been talking about that, haven't we, Roy? Stefan?
Finbar?
Sir, I need the contraband list. Items stolen over the last year.
Hang on, I'll dig out a copy for you.
Here you go.
Thanks.
Co tu
Is the
mamy?
cigarette
Czegoś
case on there?
Mouthpiece first stripped off me at the grand jury. Case got
Yes,
thrown out.
cigarette case.
Now the DA
It's
wants
here. Arnett must be out of his mind trying to move this while under a murder cloud. Julia Randall's ring. It's here.
Coś jeszcze ty? Skonstytuować?
Straight through the red light. Said she never saw it. I want to make homicide. You know you made it.
I knew it was
Biegniemy dalej.
So you and Rusty have been having discussions. Anything you would like to tell me, partner?
Phelps, don't be so touchy. Rusty had his best ever clearance rate working with you. Even if the cases he worked on can't be discussed. We were just comparing notes. You're a Booneroo case man, Phelps. One of the best I've ever seen.
Thanks.
You gotta learn to take a compliment, Phelps.
A hopped-up model, a cad, and a circus freak. Oh no. Look where you're going!
Nie przesadzę.
Fairy tales of the rich and famous.
More like pathetic tales of the desperate to be rich and famous. Junkie Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
Arnett, LeBlanc, and Willie.
Don't you go putting the pieces together again before they fit, Phelps. Listen to your old pal Rusty. Christ alive, this is a nightmare!
Ale kamera fajna.
I wouldn't call him that if I were you.
What do you care? It doesn't sound like you're the top of his Christmas card list.
He gives everyone a hard time. That's just how he is.
Whatever gets you through the day, Cole.
And Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
They don't know to move if the siren's not on.
Thanks for the tip.
Dla mnie jest ciekawie.
Goddamn maniac!
To było piękne.
Nice house. LAPD, ma'am. Is Mrs. Eavestrom in?
But she is. Would you follow me, sir?
I am Mrs. Eavestrom. How may I help you?
We appear to have recovered some stolen goods that belong to you, ma'am.
Yes, of course. That terrible burglary. Would you like something to drink?
No, thank you, ma'am. We have some questions, if you don't mind.
Why would I mind, young man, if you are returning 43 pieces of my property?
Okay, before we get down to that, I'll have a scotch. Thanks, straight up.
Maria, can you get the detective a drink, please?
Can you describe to us what was stolen?
It would be easier to describe what wasn't stolen, Detective. A priceless tiara that has been in the family for 50 years. A Fabergé cigarette case that was worth $25,000.
Czy ona jest warta tyle? 10 000.
Why are you lying about the value of your jewelry, Mrs. Eavestrom?
Who do you think you are, making heinous accusations in my own home?
We recovered the cigarette case from a pawnbroker. No one knows the real value of an item better than those guys.
I inflated its value for the insurance claim. There. Are you satisfied? My daughter's boyfriend was quite taken with the case. I think he was even more disappointed than I was when it was stolen.
What can you tell us about the burglary?
A terrible night. At least a year ago. But let's not go into that. Let's talk about what you've recovered.
I think you know more about this burglary than you were letting on, Mrs. Eavestrom. There isn't an insurance claim involved, is there?
Are you accusing me of having my own home burgled? How dare you? What possible proof do you have for this scandalous remark?
Nie, no to chyba nic nie mamy.
Looks like I made a mistake.
Aczkolwiek nie wygląda jak mówiła prawdę.
I get the sense that you're worried about something, Mrs. Eavestrom.
I have already received the insurance claim, Detective. Is there any way we could keep the return of these items discreet?
That's about it for now, Mrs. Eavestrom. The department will get in touch and let you know how you can recover your valuables.
You have only mentioned a few of the items that have been stolen, Detective. What else has been recovered?
You see, Phelps? That's why you get the drinks in early.
Hello, Mother. Hello, detectives. What is going on?
We'd like to ask exactly the same question.
You have met my daughter?
This morning at work. Oh, mother and father divorced. I took my father's name.
The detectives recovered some of the things that were stolen, darling.
Well, what did you find?
A sapphire ring on the corpse of Julia Randall.
What are you talking about?
Your engagement ring, Miss Swanson. Would you be surprised to know that it was part of the proceeds of a burglary?
That's an outrageous allegation.
Yes, it is. I suggest we go straight to Henry Arnett's place and sort this mess out.
The most well-known radio singers and orchestras are heard here on KTI.
Jedziemy.
Son of a bitch! We're missing something here. Arnett is obviously arranging the burglaries.
That's my fiancé you're making scurrilous accusations about.
And Randall was obviously his partner.
But neither of them are the type to creep apartments.
You're being ridiculous. Both of you. There's a very good explanation for all of this.
What is sogging it, sister? You're being played for a patsy and you're not even smart enough to see it.
Zobaczmy, co to będzie.
This car cost me a fortune, you moron!
Slozy, slozy. Dojeżdżamy.
You're paying for every last scratch.
Dobra. Gdzie on mieszka tak daleko? No. Udało się.
Come on, sister. Let's find out who your fiancé really is.
Welcome, sir. I'm sorry, are you a resident?
LAPD detectives. We're here to speak to Henry Arnett.
Oh, Mr. Arnett? Apartment 30. You can take the lift.
Thank you.
No tak idziemy. Do pana Arnetta.
Isn't this just nice and awkward?
Stop!
Don't
LAPD!
kill him, Cole. This guy's our case.
Go on,
Put your hands in the air! Give it up!
LAPD!
Oops. Ajdź.
Looks like he got you good, Phelps.
Yeah, he really packs a wallop. How did I get back here?
Under your own steam, miraculously. You came in through the window, said hello, and then keeled over.
How was Arnett?
He's coming around, too. He's all hopped up. Good time to get some answers.
You missing something, Henry?
Mamy bilet.
You told Heather you're honeymooning without her? Vacheron Constantine. That's an extremely expensive watch, Henry.
A graduation present from my parents.
Ale siedzi ta babka.
I don't think this is going to help us. Maybe if... No.
To nic tu więcej nie ma w sumie. A jeszcze tu jest pokój.
Junk. This doesn't pertain to the case.
Dobra.
We know all about the jewelry ring. You and Randall and LeBlanc and Willie doing the legwork.
I'm in the fashion business.
You're lying, Henry.
How can you prove that I'm involved, detective?
Sorry. Sometimes you have to shake the
Nie
tree
wiem.
to see what falls out.
Nie udowodnię chyba tego.
Miss Swanson might be gullible enough to believe your story, Arnett, but I'm not buying it. You're involved in a burglary scam, and so was Julia Randall.
I'm a legitimate businessman. I can't speak for Julia.
Why did Reed and LeBlanc kill Julia Randall?
I wanted to stop, to get out of that life. I was going to marry Heather if she'd have me. Julia told the others that they were out. That she was
Teraz
gonna
nagle się
create
przyznaje.
a new gang.
You wanted Julia Randall out of your life.
Why would he want that? Julia was our friend.
Julia was his hump, sweetheart. They were the Bonnie and Clyde of society burglars. He met you and realized he didn't have to steal anymore. He could just mooch from you. He needed Julia out of the way.
Julia was insatiable. She didn't care about anyone, not the least me. She was never going to go back to the poverty she came from. I wanted it to stop.
Who is Henderson, and what is his involvement?
Tell them what you know, Henry. I'll stand by you if you'll only tell the truth.
There is no Henderson.
Give it up, Arnett.
Nie ma
You're
żadnych
facing the
dowodów
gas
na
chamber.
nic.
Give the judge some reason to commute.
You still don't get it, do you? Julia entrapped everyone. She was so beautiful, so goddamn cold.
Henry Arnett, you are under arrest for burglary
Nic nie
and for the
udowodniłem.
murder of Julia Randall.
Henderson is Stoneman, all right? I'm not the guy you want. Go talk to the good doctor.
Oh, we will, knucklehead. Meanwhile, we're fitting you for convict stripes.
Jakby nie było żadnych dowodów w ogóle na to. Albo ja nie wiem, jakoś łączyć dowodów. Nie wiem. No, to stąd mama. Już się kończy to
I guess the
zadanie.
wedding's off. He only robbed her mother and killed her best friend. Cut the guy some slack. So how does the doctor fit in? That's what we're about to find out. Maybe we should ask him to give you a quick once-over. That meathead gave you one hell of a pasting. I've had worse. You should have seen yourself staggering back in there like a drunken sailor. Next time you can take the runner, Roy. I didn't box in the Marines, though, did I? Should have never told you that.
Very few.
$505 chyba to było.
Time for the doctor to give us something to make this all better. Hang on a moment, sister. Tell him it's Henry Arnett, and tell him it's urgent.
I can't do that.
Tell him, or I'll charge you with obstruction of justice.
Doctor, I'm afraid Mr. Arnett is here to see you, and he says it's urgent.
Send him in.
I told you never to come.
Tell us the truth, doctor.
I'm so glad you came. Prison will be better than insanity, and I'm already half insane with grief. Do you know that I loved her? I ruined my life for her, and yet I still love her.
Will you testify in court that Arnett and Randall did these robberies?
They organized the robberies. Julie would get the names of the guests attending my wife's parties. Didn't matter how much money I showered upon her, it was never enough. She never really cared for me.
Doctor, I'm afraid you're under arrest.
O, się przyznał.
The practice. You'll call Dr. Gerard. No, please don't cry. I want to see no one. Not my wife, or my children, nor my friends, and I don't want a lawyer. Just lock me up and throw away the key. What have I done?
Didn't see that coming.
Masakra.
Operator, message for KGPL.
Putting you through now.
I need an ambulance and the coroner immediately to the offices of Dr. Harold Stoneman, 1646 Ivor Street, Hollywood.
En route, Detective. You have a message. Detective Bukowski says the suspect is named Wilson Willie the Wolf Reed, former wrestler. Last known address is an apartment building at the corner of Hollywood
To
and
się jeszcze
Vine.
nie kończy.
Detective Bukowski says to meet them there.
On our way. We have an address for the runner.
Let's try and wrap this up then.
Dobra, to dokończymy to w następnym odcinku. Dziękuję za oglądanie. Do już jasny raz. Żegnam się z wami. Hej.